Good evening, Real Money Coach family. Listen, it is Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, so you know what time it is. It is time for the Real Money Coach Show here on Facebook and YouTube. And those of you who are regulars, y'all know what to do. Put in the chat where you're watching from. Let us know the city, let us know the state, wherever you are watching from. And I want to just tell you right up front, before you even put it in the chat, we're just glad that you are here. We're glad that you're part of the show. And we have a dynamite show for you. We're excited. I hope you all can just feel how much fun we have at bringing this information to you. And so we just want you to participate with us. Put it in the chat. Get active there. Let us know where you're watching from. And I want to know something. So, tonight, we're going to be talking about, if you guys got my email that went out, I talked about taxes and talked about financial aid, right? They're not due at the same time. They're very closely related, though. They're like first cousins, right? Whatever you put on that tax return going to end up on that FAFSA. So we know they're very closely related. Thank you, Robin, for tuning in tonight from Concord, North Carolina. Hey, good to have you here. I hope you and David are doing well tonight. I hope he's safe on the road, all that good stuff. So tonight, what I want you to do is I want you to do one or two things, right? I want you to do one or two things because it is March Madness. We got the Final Four coming up. We're going to be talking about the college roadmap tonight. And so in the chat box, why don't you do this? Either put where you went to school, your alma mater, right? Where you graduated from, or your favorite college. Either or. Tony, thank you for being here from Middletown, New York. Love it. Love it. So put in where you are watching from and then your favorite college or where you went to college. Either one of those you can do. And we're going to see which college is the number one out here. So I know that there's some Aggie pride, right? I can do that because I put a lot of money in the A&T up there in Greensboro, right? Whatever school you are, whatever school is your favorite school. Alice Martin, thank you for being here. Kimberly, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here tonight. It is so important that you are here, and we appreciate each and every one of you tuning in every week. So we're going to have some things we want to talk about tonight. I'm going to do just some quick announcements for you, let you know what's going on, what's coming up as far as the Real Money Coach. And let's start with Thursday, right? Let's start with Thursday. Thursday is generational wealth. Maybe Dante put these in a certain order. Dante, if you want to put them up, Dante, you put them up. You put them up, and I'll just go through them as you put them up. All right. So we got Generational Wealth Alliance. That is a meeting that I do along with Dr. George Frazier, Janice Leak. You know, both of them have been friends of the show. Generational Wealth, where they've been doing something really cool this year, having a youth spotlight coming in, talking about cryptocurrency or talking about some of those things. Good evening. We got someone else from New York, Wakil, New York. So we just invite you to come out to that every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. It's free. Got the flyer there for you guys to know. Generational Wealth Alliance. I usually do some type of quick financial education at the beginning of that, and then we go into some other things. Listen, Robin put in here that she is a proud graduate of Southern University A&M College, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Go Jaguars. She's got that pride. And on the iHeart Radio show this Friday, occurs every Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern time, 2 p.m. Pacific, we will have Megan and Reagan Lynch. You guys may remember them from the book launch, the dynamic duo, Dual Vision, the sisters, co-founders, along with Adrian Sloan and Jacob Mickle of Extreme Global Trading Academy, dynamic girls there. They will come and share some information with us. We'll in that radio show, we'll be kind of showing or airing their remarks that were at the book launch. So that's what we're doing there. I also want to acknowledge Timothy Day in the chat from Timothy and Cynthia Day. Wonderful couple there. Timothy was on our show last week, did a wonderful job for us. And so we are excited about that. And let's see. Yes. We just had the 2022 awards gala for Every Dot Black. And let me tell you something about the Every Dot Black organization. It is an organization primarily of entrepreneurs, but I think the founder there, Jimmy Davis, is doing a wonderful job. I actually, every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m., are on their clubhouse, kind of leading a discussion about Wealth Wednesday. And so yours truly was honored to be selected as an Entrepreneur of the Year for that organization. And so thank you to all of the Every Dot Black family that did that. And there were other winners as well. There were a number of winners, including our guest night. Dr. Greta Oliver was awarded the first year Entrepreneur of the Year. And so she's going to be with us sharing tonight. She won that honor. And so, and we didn't even set this up. We didn't know this was all going to happen. And so it happens that she's on our show tonight. So that's pretty awesome. A couple of other award winners. Stan Anderson was Podcaster of the Year, Community Outreach Award. I'm not going to even try to say the lady's name, but she is from Croatia. She's part of the Every Dot Black Caribbean. And then we had John, who's the Technology Award. He's really into cryptocurrency, those type of things. And then again, very honored, yours truly, to be Entrepreneur of the Year. So great organization, and it was a great event. They had workshops in the afternoon. They had the gala at night. So just really a great time, and well done by Jimmy Davies and that organization. So without any further ado, let me bring on the co-host here. She wasn't here last week. She played hooky on me last week, but with good reasons. Let's bring on Michelle. Michelle, how you doing in Kalamazoo?
Good evening, Tony.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Great. Thank you, Robin and Alice, for congratulations there. Thank you so much.
Yes, congratulations.
So, yeah, it's quite an honor. You know, Michelle, the thing about it is what was special about it for me was that it was our people, right? It was Every Dot Black people. And Every Dot, it's Every Dot Black. You know, people want to say everydotblack.com, but it's Every Dot Black. And so just a great time, great event. But there's a couple great events that happened over the last week or so since you were last on. And one of them is we got to hang out in Myrtle Beach together. So our families were together in Myrtle Beach, had a great time, got a chance to play golf with Tony, Michelle's husband, Tony, and her brother, Vaughn. We call him Derek, and his wife was there. My godson, Antonio, and his wife, Emily. So it was a great time. Lisa and I were only there for the weekend, but we had a great time. So how was your vacation?
My vacation was too short. But you know, it takes you a while to wind down into vacation mode. And then, you know, before you know it, I'm like, dang, this is the last day.
The last day. It goes by fast, doesn't it?
It goes by fast. You know, our weeks don't seem to go by as fast as our vacation weeks. So
but the weekends go by fast. We know that, right?
Yes, it does.
So what and Michelle said you returned. I mean, it was sunny, right? Down in Myrtle Beach, and then you returned back to the snow of the Midwest.
Even before we got to the Midwest, it was snowing, Tony.
Just kind of preparing you for getting home, you know?
South of Charleston, West Virginia, it started snowing, and it snowed all the way home.
Wow. No. Now, did you make it through the mountains before the snow started?
No.
Oh, it was even in the mountains.
Yes.
Yeah, that drive through the mountains in the snow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, the
yeah.
good thing is it wasn't really sticking to the road, but
Okay.
it was snowing quite hard, but it wasn't sticking, causing travel issues. But it, like, when we got home, it was probably at least 2 inches of snow on the ground.
Wow.
Hmm.
I don't miss those days at all.
And it
And
was
it seems
20
like
degrees,
whenever we, how, what was the temperature?
20, 20.
20 degrees. Yeah, no, no, I don't miss. No, no, listen,
Yeah.
we got to talk about it, right? I mean, he
Uh-huh.
didn't show, we got Will Smith. We were talking about an award ceremony.
Right.
Uh, I guess the elephant in the room, Michelle,
I
is
know.
is the slap. Is the slap, right?
It's a
It's
slap.
and
Yes.
it's funny. I was thinking about which slap is going to win award of the year. Javon Howard slap of the coach, or
Ooh.
will it be Will Smith slap of Chris Rock?
I
I
think.
don't know.
Mm,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
saying I think Will Smith
I
got
think
this one.
Will Smith. Gotta look at, like, the form. Like,
Oh yeah, and they've showed every
yes.
frame that they possibly could
Yeah.
show
And the
of
thing
that.
is, I really thought it was part of the skit at first when I first
Yeah.
saw it, because
Okay.
Chris Rock had no reaction, so
And Michelle, I didn't even watch it. I didn't even watch the
yeah,
Oscars.
I didn't watch it.
Honestly, I didn't even know they were on. To tell
Yeah.
you the truth,
Yeah.
because that was it Sunday?
Sunday. Mhm.
Sunday. Okay.
Mhm.
I don't know what we were doing, but I didn't even watch it. I didn't even know it was on.
Yeah.
I think Lisa and I watched a movie or something we ran
Mhm.
across on BET Plus or something like that.
Mhm.
So I didn't even realize it until I got up on yesterday morning, and that's all that's over social
Right.
media. That's
Yeah.
all that's over the internet. Is this incredible slap
Yeah.
punch, whatever it was. So, and people
Yeah.
have a lot of different opinions about
They
it. A
do.
lot of different
They
opinions
do.
about
But I would have to say, if you guys have read Will Smith's book, um, Will I Am, or I Am Will, or whatever it's called,
it.
it
Okay.
will give you some insight to me into what happened. It will.
Okay.
Yeah.
It will give you some insight.
It will
I,
give
I
you
got some
it
insight
will,
because it was West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground for most of my days. I
yeah.
thought it, the West Philadelphia came out all of a sudden, right? So,
I
that's
don't think
what
that
I'm
was
kind of
it.
thinking.
I really don't think that was
So
it.
tell me, you read the book. What's your take on it?
My take on it is that there's some things that happened in his childhood that he felt like he could, like, there was some abuse that happened to his mom from his dad, and he felt as though he couldn't protect his mom. And now there's a lot to it, but now you see
Mm,
an opportunity where now he has to stand up and defend his wife, and he's called himself a coward for a lot of his formative years.
mm,
And now you get to the point, what you gonna do?
that's deep.
It's
That's
deep.
deep.
It is really deep, and I would encourage people to really uh, uncover some of his backstory, and it will make more sense about what happened. Yes, it should not have happened because, and I also think there's another thing in play where this man is at the pinnacle of his career, and
Absolutely.
maybe some people don't really like that. And
Oh,
maybe
I
it
know
was
there's people that don't
orchestrated.
like that. Yeah.
Maybe it was orchestrated because maybe, just maybe, they knew it was might come, and it was might. So, you know, just saying.
You got a conspiracy theory,
It
Michelle.
could be a conspiracy theory, but you getting a little high on your horse.
Well, but here's the thing that I think is I think um as great intentions as it was, right,
Hmm.
to defend your wife, and
Yeah.
I've heard different opinions about that.
Mhm.
Like, There's some people that say, well, she could defend herself. You're kind of
Mhm.
doing this damsel in
In
distress.
distress.
I,
Mhm.
I think the bottom line to me is that it could have been handled
Yeah,
differently,
absolutely.
than to display that violence
Yes.
in the middle of this,
But I
tremendous
think
award.
Chris has a part in this too
And I'm
because
glad to see that Chris also issued an apology
yes.
for the
Mhm.
joke.
Yes.
Now,
It was a little bit more than a joke because if you know the story of Black women and their crown, which is their hair, which
yes,
he did a whole film about, remember?
yes,
Should have
yep,
known
yep,
that should have been off limits. It should have been
got
off limits. Yeah.
And I'm not familiar with the whole Demi Moore, GI Jane. I don't know that I've ever even seen it before, so
So
that
I think
wouldn't have meant
she
anything to
was
me.
Ball in G.I. Jane. Demi Moore
Okay.
was Ball in G.I. Jane. But
But it's one thing as a choice versus in
yes.
terms of a medical condition.
Mhm. I would agree.
But I think comedians sometimes they push the envelope.
They pushed
And
the
I think
envelope. You're
he probably he apologized,
correct.
but I think even that didn't warrant the punch, right? Even
I would agree.
yeah,
You are
so
more professional than that. So,
yeah, yeah,
and
and you're right.
especially as Black people that is on the world stage, you gotta walk a little different. We all know that, right?
Well, there's a spotlight on us.
Yes.
There's a
Mhm,
spotlight on us, right?
mhm.
Now let's look at our girl who's going to be the next Supreme Court justice.
Mhm.
Okay, how did she handle herself with dignity or what?
Yes. I I was
What
on vacation and I
did I
was
say
trying
that? Ketanji Brown
Ketanji
Jackson.
Brown
I
Jackson.
can say
Yeah.
her last name really well. I mean Jackson. I can say that really well. I can say her
Yeah.
last name really well. But I think she made us proud.
I
And
think
I
she
even
did.
have seen some things about that in
Mhm.
terms of who
And
she
the
chose
way
to
she had
marry.
to kind of bite her tongue at moments and really think before she answered some of the questions that was asked of her, which I thought were unfair.
Sure.
Um, but she handled herself very well.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think so too. I think she made a lot of us proud.
Mm-hmm.
She made a lot. I mean, y'all winning. Black girl magic, right?
Black girl, look, come on, y'all in the chat. Come on, the
I
black
know
girl.
where everybody at. Ain't
Where
nobody.
y'all
We're
at?
talking about all these controversial
Yes.
topics. Nobody said
Come on.
anything.
Say
All right.
something. Say
All right. Let
something.
me ask you a question. Who was at fault? Will or Chris? Put that in the chat box. All right. Put your opinion on that one in the chat box. I'm not going to even discuss it. Oh, what? Okay.
All right,
So I'm
Dante.
going to put that one in the chat box. Which one do you think was at fault most? Like let's put you on the judge seat, right? If you got to
Yeah.
determine the fault, it can't be
Right.
50-50. Put it in there. All right. Somebody said Will. Somebody just came out and said they're brave enough
Yep.
to say Will. So, but listen, Michelle, of course, you and I can chat all night.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
we go back like two flats on a Cadillac and all that good stuff. But listen, we have a wonderful guest with us tonight, Dr. Greta Oliver. And I'm going to tell you something. She is Black Girl Magic personified, right? So very, very, I really got a chance to get to know her last couple days and see her in action and all that kind of stuff. And so, but she's awesome. But I'm going to tell you something that, and I told her this, I told her this earlier when we did a taping for her show. Is one of the things that impressed me about her was her husband, and I'm going to tell you why. Is because I think he initially contacted me and said, "I got a great idea for your show," and his great idea for my show was Dr. Greta, his wife. And I just thought that said so much about her and about how he feels about her, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't until later I found out that he a bad dude himself, right?
Right.
So and so I think that was my introduction to her.
Mhm.
Um, I've been in some meetings with her every Thursday, the generational wealth. I didn't know at that point that she was also connected to Every Dot Black.
Oh,
But
okay.
and so we got this two mutual connections going that I didn't realize until recently. But
Mhm.
that just stood out to me. And so so I want to just
Yeah,
give a shout out
'cause
to my
Black
man
Girl Magic,
Terry.
they don't have no Rudy Poots as they partners, like, for real, though. You know?
You don't have no Rudy too. Is that what you
No.
said? Rudy too?
Yeah.
So Tony Mitchell's all that.
He all that, and a
He
bag of
is. That's my boy. That's that. That's
chips.
my boy. I agree with you. And
Yes.
I'm telling you something, my wife is all of that. It
I
ain't no
know.
doubt about it.
She
It
is.
ain't, I mean, hands down, right?
Hands
So
down.
listen, let's bring our guest on tonight before we done talk the whole show
I
away, chit-chatting about a little bit of miscellaneous of everything. Let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Greta Oliver. She's from Ohio. She has several degrees, including her doctorate in higher education from Ohio University. This is what she does. She specializes in student development and is devoted to helping students successfully make the transition from high school to higher education. Okay.
Mm.
We know that could be a very
Yeah,
tough
tough.
transition.
Mhm.
I was a first generation college student, almost. I mean, as far as my immediate family,
Yeah.
and I had some that went to college, but
Mhm.
as far as graduating, um, but so she helps with that transition. Spent many years in the classroom as a teacher, a student. She's a true educator, supporter of students of all ages. So
Mhm.
she may be the only person I know, Michelle, that has more degrees than you, girl, because you got you some degrees, and I love it. So let's bring on Dr. Greta onto the show with us to have a little fun with me and Michelle. Dr. Greta Oliver,
Welcome, Dr.
how are you? Welcome
Greta.
to the Play Coach Show.
Hello, hello. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Oh, we're glad to have you tonight. As you can see, we're just having a ball,
Yes, I
just
can see
talking
that.
about different things. So, and we can't wait to get you involved in this conversation. And you got any insight on some of these things we were just talking about? Any insight on the
I got
will,
insight on
the
everything. But I must say, I do agree with Michelle. I did read Will's book, and that was
Mhm.
exactly what I thought as well. I
Yep.
felt that
Mhm.
he was put in a position where he felt once again that he was being a coward. He was
Yep.
not standing up for someone he loved when he saw
Mhm.
clearly that bothered the comment or so-called
Mhm.
joke bothered her. And you also notice that he was at first laughing. I mean, literally
Yes.
was laughing. And then he saw her face. And I
Yes.
said to my husband, I said, when he saw her face, he's like, I got to go home with this woman. Okay. I've got
Mhm.
to do something because this is not going
Something.
to end pretty for me. And then probably thought back and reflected. And
Mhm.
from that to the explosion, it was a short period of time. And so I really
Yeah.
felt that that was exactly what was going on. And
Mhm.
I felt like he really felt like he needed to step up. He has said
Yes.
that he was a coward in the past and he felt really bad about that. And one of the things that he really cares about is his family and
Mhm.
didn't necessarily know how to show that properly. And so a lot of
Mhm.
times he would throw money at situations, but not really get to the heart of anything. And so I
Yes.
think that he wanted to prove to her, as well
Mhm.
as to himself, that he had enough guts, nerve, whatever you want to call it, to get up and handle that situation. And while it was done for really for the wrong reasons, honestly,
It was.
it was just an inappropriate time to do that. It could have
Yes.
been done so much, easier in a different way, and nobody would have come out with a face that's sore, So
Right.
that was all that
Wait a
it
minute,
was.
let's take this out
Yeah,
back. Let's take this
yeah,
out back.
Yeah.
yeah.
What I appreciate, and y'all, listen. We never really remind people this. Listen, share this stream on your Facebook. Let them know that Dr. Oliver's on the Real Money Coach Show.
Right.
We're having some real conversation
Mhm.
about this. I appreciate what you two have brought to it because I had not read the book,
Mhm.
and I do think that what you brought is a very valid point because and you know, and hopefully there's counseling and all those type of things involved. But I think
Yes.
this was a you brought out something that I think, unless you knew that background, you probably didn't see or know. So I appreciate that insight that you guys have shared with us, and from a lady's perspective too. I mean, that
Right.
all is part of it as well. And so,
But somebody that listened to Chris rehearse that joke should have said something.
Right. Right.
you're assuming that he rehearsed it. He may not
I'm
have.
Yeah, I
assuming
don't know
that
if it was off the cuff or what. You know, I really
Yeah.
don't know. But I haven't known him to necessarily be somebody that's really like mean spirited. So I'm going to give
Right.
him the benefit of the doubt and just think maybe he just wasn't aware of her condition. But regardless of whether you're aware of a woman's condition with her hair or not, just leave that subject alone. That's one of
Exactly.
those subjects you probably don't even need to go there in any way, shape, or form.
Right. Well, and I think about that movie Hilarious, right? And as Michelle mentioned, and I always think about Al Sharpton, you know. And I remember asking Al Sharpton, do you run your hands through a woman's hair? And Al Sharpton said, the question is, do I let her run her hand through my hair?
Right. Hair look better than most women.
So hair is a big topic for us and our people.
Yes.
Now, and I didn't know she had that hair condition, and maybe Chris Rock didn't know. And
Right.
if you thought she just shaved her head because she wanted to, that joke may have been taken a whole different way. But I am glad that they both have come out and apologize for that.
Yeah.
So, and then I've seen a lot on Facebook. The thing that we missed was the Lifetime Achievement Award that Samuel L. Jackson received.
Wow.
That was not televised at all.
Wow.
And so he received a Lifetime Achievement Award, never won an Oscar. Even all that he did with Pulp Fiction, all these wonderful roles that Samuel L. Jackson has done, he's never won an Oscar.
Wow.
And he was given a Lifetime Achievement Award that was not one of the televised awards. And it was presented to him by Denzel Washington.
Oh.
And they gave just this big, huge embrace as he presented Samuel L. Jackson with this award. And that we missed, right? In the midst of everything else that happened. So, and we're about to jump into college roadmap, but before we get there,
I don't believe you, Tony.
Tell me what you think about our new soon-to-be Supreme Court judge. Any thoughts there from Dr. Oliver?
That is a woman of courage. She is honorable.
Yeah.
And I was so proud of her. You know, the way she handled herself, everything that she embodies, you know, I was just proud of her. And we need more people that we can kind of look up to. I think that's, you know, not trying to jump on this Will Smith thing forever, but I think a lot of people were more disappointed in the fact of what happened on the national stage. And so at least by looking at her, we were given an opportunity to see really honestly just a stand-up person, just somebody that, you know, that we could be proud of in the way that she handled herself and what she's done so far in her life.
And someone who set her sights on her goal as a high school student. Yes.
And that was a high sight. I'm telling you, I don't even know if that's the right terminology to use. That is a big aspiration to, you know, try to reach and actually reach it.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is a great segue. This is a great segue because I read some comments about her and what her transition, and I think was one of the answers that she may have given during the I call it trial. It's almost a trial, right?
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
It was one of the answers that she was given, and she talked in there, Dr. Greta. She talked about as a freshman,
Mhm.
She was walking across the campus at Harvard, and she was feeling down. I'm paraphrasing, right? She was
Okay.
feeling down. I'd say maybe feeling like giving up, right?
Mhm.
And she's
Mhm.
walking across the yard at Harvard, and she says there was, I'm assuming it was a black female professor. I think she may have described it, or could have been professor, professional, or what have you. And I think the word they told her was it persist?
Uh,
Um, I can't
yeah,
remember exactly which word it was. It might have.
uh, was it be persistent?
I don't know if it was
No, it
persist.
wasn't persistent.
I didn't
No,
see.
it was a word though. I
Mhm.
can't. Somebody look that up for us and put it in the chat box. But
Mhm.
but she said this person told her either persist or
Persevere.
persevere,
Yeah.
persevere,
Tell her to
Mhm.
persevere.
persevere,
Mhm.
and that change. That was a moment in time
Yes.
for her
Yes.
at Harvard
Mhm.
that kept her going. And that's the type of thing that you work with, Dr. Oliver. So
Yes.
tell us a little bit
Absolutely.
about your background, a little bit about the book. Just kind of give us a little bit of Dr. Greta Oliver right now.
Sure. Well, as you can find out from reading the book, so get busy, Tony. Uh, I was a first generation college student, and I did not do most of the things that I have suggested that students do in my book because I know that these things are vitally important. So, for example, I mean, in my book, I'm trying to give students and their families a step-by-step guidebook, map, you can call it whatever you want to, road that they can get on and follow to make the whole entire experience of college searching and college going more easily navigated, with less stress, more ease, not being totally overwhelmed in the process because it is so many moving parts that takes place during the college search, before, during, and after, that
Yeah.
you really have to be on top of this so you don't literally lose your mind. So
Yeah.
that's number one. But I was a first generation college student and I was dropped off, literally dropped off at Bowling Green State University, which I categorize as being in the middle of nowhere. And I'm from
It
Ohio.
is.
I'm from Cleveland. And I was from a high school where I believe we had one Caucasian student, literally. And so I was not used to anything. I did not go to that campus and do a visit. There was no internet searches or anything of that nature when I went to college. So I'm dating
Right.
myself. That's okay. But I'm just saying I had no understanding really of what to expect. And I also did not have many of the skills that I needed to be able to be successful at college. I did not study in high school. The things that I was good at, and I didn't have to study at those things. And so I was really good in English, which miracle of miracles. I love to read. So I think that has a lot to do with that. And so, really good at English, tested out of all the freshman classes and all of that. And I was a business education student, meaning I was typing, office machines, all of that kind of stuff. And I had decided in the 7th grade that I was going to be a business teacher. And I was so enamored with my business teacher. She was African-American woman, first one I ever had as a teacher, as far as a woman is concerned. And I didn't have many African-American teachers as well. So just the epitome of class, that was what I was going to do. And that's exactly what I went to college to do. That is where I got my degree in. I got my degree in business education, hoping to be a business education teacher. I was a business education teacher for many years, but I didn't take advantage of advocates on campus. I struggled as far as, studying on my own. I didn't take advantage of really tutoring or anything on the undergraduate level. I got enough sense to get tutors later on when I went through master's and PhD statistics classes. But when I was an undergrad, I didn't know about advocates and I didn't know where I could go for help. And nobody really told me, and I didn't seek it out. And so because of that, I actually, I made it through. I graduated. I had a decent grade point average. It wasn't the best, but the things that I could have taken advantage of to make my trek through college easier, I didn't know about and I didn't do. And so I ended up working for Ohio University as an administrator in many different offices, scholarships, tension. I did a lot of college advising, a lot of high touch advising for students. I recruited, I did summer programs, both at Ohio University and UNC. And so I saw students come in and I saw how they struggled. And I saw how many of them were struggling and didn't know what to do and didn't know where their help was. And so I became that help for many students. And so through the book, I was trying to point students to a way of doing things that would make it easier, starting as early as they could, really trying to actually put some thought into things like looking for colleges, getting on college for, getting on colleges for visits, doing the work that's necessary to secure financial aid, taking advantage of their advocates. And so I wrote the book, and it's all the stuff that I didn't know, but wish I had known when I went. And so I really am trying to help students. I've gifted quite a few books. I'm trying to get in front of students and parents. I have, some kind of partnerships that I'm trying to build up between high schools, students, and parents. And so what I want this book to do and be is, really the go-to guide of how to get to and through college with, as the least amount of bloodshed, I guess I should say, as possible.
Unscathed as possible. Unscathed as possible.
It does not have to be horrible. It does not have to be a horrible experience for everybody. And I think that with, if you have a student, first of all, you need to find out if they want to go to college, and just realizing that maybe your student does not want to go to college. And if they don't, that's okay. You work with them where they are. Mm-hmm. And you have to realize also that as a parent or as a family member, you can't put your expectations on your child based on what you didn't do. Mm-hmm. And so that is a really big one, because I know a lot of parents who, maybe they weren't able to go to college, or they didn't get, where they want to be career wise or whatever. They're trying to push their student to walk in their steps, to do what they didn't do. And that's not cool, because that's not what the kid probably wants to do. And they should be able to walk and have their own experience and have their own path. After all, when they're on campus, they will be the ones going to the classes. Yes. They will be the ones taking the test. They will be the ones under the pressure to complete this degree. And so you don't want to put your expectations on your student. You just want to help support them where they are. And so we talk about a lot of things in the book, finding interest, doing interest inventories. We talk about, developing relationships with your professors and finding mentors, talk about budgeting. We talk about, personal finance. We talk about note-taking and finding out your learning style and how you learn best, all of that. I mean, every single thing that I could actually think of is in the book. And the book is divided into 3 sections. It is before the search, during the wait, and after acceptance. And so the book is meant to be a companion book that you work on with your student, like the family member, the parent. It doesn't have to be a parent. It could be a guardian. It could be any adult, somebody that's helping to support the student in their quest for higher education. And you work along and work through the tips, which there are 20 in the book, that help to navigate all of these different things so that you can eventually get to college. And then when you get there, what do you do? Then what do you do? When you get on campus, yes, you're there, but then what? Where should right. Who should you connect with? Who should you make yourself known to so that your journey will be your journey, and it won't be one that's horrific. And so it can be horrible for students because a lot of times they have, they don't know you don't know what you don't know, I guess is what I'm trying to say regarding the book. And so this is like pointing out some of the things you should be thinking about. And so that's it. I mean, I don't know what else I can say.
Let me tell you, that's it. That's huge.
That's a lot. Yeah.
That's it. Like, that's a little thing.
I didn't even take a breath, did I?
Well, because it's in you. It's your passion. It's obvious that that's your passion. But, I just want to say right now, if anybody's listening, watching this, or even watching a replay, if you can't think of this as a gift, a graduation gift for the senior in your life, what are you thinking about? Right?
Even before senior, though. Even before
senior. Right. Even, this is so important. Because
and I think you can find a student. I hear a lot of parents say, or people say, oh, I wish I had this when my kid went to, I wish I had this 3 years ago. You can find a student that needs your help. You can look in your church, your congregation, your family, your relatives, the kid that lives down the block that doesn't seem to know what they want to do. It could be so useful because education can change somebody's life.
Education.
I went through it. Yeah. I went through the trial by fire. I did. Yep. I got out of it. And then I went back and then I went back again. So there's value in education for me. And I just want anybody that wants that, if they want a higher education experience, to be able to get that in as easy a way as they can. And then I also say to the parents that this may be the last time that you can really kind of work with your student on some kind of project. Once, we're raising our students, raising our kids so that they can leave us. Yeah. Lord knows I'm not trying to have all these folks sitting up in my house for years and years and years on top of years. You get your college education, you go and do what you need to do and be okay with that. And I'm happy because you're a productive member of society. You can stand on your own feet. And that's not saying that I won't ever help them, because I will always have my door open to my kids. I don't care how old they get, they're still my kids. And so maybe I need to tell y'all to just get that out of this. But anyway, I will always help them. They know I will. Okay. Yeah. And so this time is so precious for parents, if they are guardians or whomever is working with the student. This is something you can work on together. You can look on your computer and do virtual tours together. You can go on college visits together. You can set up all of this stuff and look for financial aid and kind of make it into some kind of way, something that you're both doing. But parents have to also remember that they cannot do the work of the student. And what I mean is, do not fill out their applications. Don't help them write their letters of recommendation or their letters of application. All of that. They can't do that. They are not ready for, or maybe they just don't want to be in school. So find out what the deal is. Do they want to be there? And if they do, then you can certainly help them. You can proofread their stuff, but you should not be writing it.
You touched on so many things, Dr. Greg. Yeah. You touched on so many things from the very beginning. Even as you talked about watching your parents drive away slowly, I remember looking out the window at my parents driving away. Yeah, and there's two people crying. It's the student who got left behind and the parent who's driving off, right?
Right.
This is a life-changing event.
It is.
Yeah. But one of the things that you've talked about is that not pushing our goals, our dreams of what we wish we would have did on our kids, and also maybe what we did do, saying you need to do it this way.
Absolutely.
And I just want to say this. I just want to make this clear. In my book, I talk about wanting to go to Howard University. I did
Yeah.
not make my son enroll at Howard. Okay, he didn't even know.
But
But there
Izzy and
is a
Howard.
Tony Jackson on Howard campus. It just happened to happen quite a few years later. But I don't think I even expressed to him that I wanted. But I was thinking about it one day, talking to him, and he's so proud to be a Howard alumni. And I said, that was my dream in high school.
Right.
I never shared it with him, but look at God.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Tony, I
Yes.
never knew that till I read it in your book. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was my dream. My
That
dream
is
was to go to
awesome.
Howard. And
That's
bam,
awesome.
TJ's there, right? And
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
his name is Tony
so
Jackson.
cool.
He's on campus. Like,
There you
but
go. He is. Yes.
and God did that without me influencing that decision.
Mhm.
And I'm just
Right.
kind of, really proud of that, letting our kids make those decisions that they want, not
Yes.
forcing them into school, because school is not for everybody. Everybody
Right.
doesn't want it, and there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. But if it's what you want, this is
Mhm.
so important.
Yes.
And as you were talking about it, I reflected. I did some volunteer work for a organization out of, it's Ohio. I think it was in the Columbus area, where there's foster kids that when they leave foster care, all of a sudden they're no longer a ward of the court. And now they have to go to campus. They got to figure all this out on their own. What a marvelous gift this would be for those kids who are aging out of the system as well, that doesn't have a parent. Or
Right.
maybe the situation is my neither of my parents went to college.
Right.
They didn't
Right.
know what to tell me, what to do, what not to do.
Mhm.
And I made some mistakes
Yep.
because of that. And if
Right.
we can help someone else, and this book, I think it's just a wonderful resource. There's no reason why every student in America shouldn't have this book, whether you're going to college, 4-year school, or technical
Yes.
school, or
Yes.
maybe you whatever you're deciding to do. It seems like such a great tool. So,
Yeah,
Thank
so tell us about the transition, though. This is what I want to know. You started your own business. I'm not sure when you did that, because you obviously have a passion for this. The book is a great resource, but tell us a little bit what made you decide to just go out on your own and do it.
Well, I had, it was just so, my trajectory has been just it's weird. But I enjoyed working with students so much when I was at Ohio University, and I was there about 9 years. And so I was always working with students, and I got to know these students, and I have a relationship with these students and still have it to this day. And we left Ohio in 2010, and then I came to North Carolina, where, PhDs are a dime a dozen here. I mean, honestly, it was very, very hard for me to get a position that allowed me to continue to do that. I did have some part-time kind of positions. Like I worked at UNC as the interim trio director. I'm getting that coach from you now. Interim trio director for a little bit of time. And then I did the Chuck Stone program, which is a summer program. And then throughout the year, we check in with the students monthly that actually end up at Carolina. And so I did that for a while. And all of these were like temporary type jobs. But as far as being able to secure a permanent job doing what I loved, I wasn't able to do that, because I wasn't the one that was recruited here. My husband was. And once again, I was the trailing spouse. And, I had a lot to offer, but it was so many people that had a lot to offer. So I kind of missed out. And so I worked the jobs that I had, and also worked at Wake Tech for a while, training and teaching adult students, that were in employability skills. So like resume writing and cover letters and interviewing and all that kind of stuff. And so I enjoy doing that as well. And so that's one of the things that I do offer through my company. But, I missed really working with students, because I love students. I love to be able to feel like I have literally made a difference in somebody else's life positively, and so I missed that. And so I was just kind of thinking about, okay, I was thinking about writing a book, and I didn't really know what the topic was going to be. And for a while, I was thinking about writing a book that was about gaining your PhD, like the road to the PhD, because that's another subject that people could use help with. And so I thought about that. But then I eventually I believe that honestly God kind of led me to write this book, and it's based on my love for students, my wanting to help students, and the fact that I've lived this. I know this. This is something that I have done and in a role that I've been in for years. I have four children, and we went through that 4 times. Of 4 children, one of them decided that they did not want higher education to be a part of their life. But of course, that was after we took them to school. We went through all of that. I've been through all of that. I realized that school is, college is not for everybody. I can be okay with that. But for my other kids, went through all of that with them, and so this is close to me because I had a kind of particular story because, like I said, I showed up on the campus. I really didn't know how to study. I went the other way. Like, instead of like being a partier or just going buck wild, I was too scared to go buck wild. I had to go home to Cleveland. That was not going to work for me.
So, girl, I know about that.
I know you do. And so I became the person that was like in a corner with a book a lot of the time, instead of being like socializing and getting a true college experience. So I know about that. And so I just felt like if I have gone through these things and I know students still go through these things, why do they have to if I've already gone through them, gone through this? And so I'm just trying to make it easier for somebody to be able to realize their dreams without all the drama that can occur between, the start of college and whenever you leave there, whether you leave with a degree or not.
There's two things that really come to my mind as I hear you talk. Is one is my good friend, Michelle Mitchell Consulting, that's on the screen with us. Is she loves this, what? Turning your passion into what? Profit. And then the other thing I think about is Zig Ziglar says, and he probably got it from somebody else, but if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want.
Right.
And I believe that sometimes God allows us into situations where it doesn't work out the way we want it to, because he uses that to edge us into our purpose. He uses that to edge us into our destiny. And I think about, as we're approaching Easter and all this, and everybody talks about, Judas and being betrayed, but he betrayed Jesus into his destiny, that we would have salvation. And I think sometimes we look at life and we say, this is so hard, but God uses that to propel us into our destiny and into our purpose. And this may sound strange, but thank God none of those jobs worked out, because you may not have written the book that's going to help so many more people than you could have touched on one campus.
Right. And I do really feel like that's my purpose. I honestly do. Everybody worries, like, or wonders, I guess I should say, like, why am I here? What difference am I making? And nobody wants to still be asking that, as they get older. It's like, you still haven't figured that out yet. So I really honestly believe this is what I'm here to do. And I'm going to do everything I can to make that happen and to help as many people as I can.
That's wonderful.
That is so interesting, because I had a conversation with my daughter, who's a senior in college right now. And I was just explaining to her how, your experiences, because you know she's at that place. I don't know how to figure it out, right?
Right.
And her experiences that she has gone through, I was explaining to her, they're not for you.
Right.
It's so that
Right.
you can impact
Right.
somebody else with
Mm-hmm.
what God has allowed to happen to
Yes. Yes.
you in
I
your
agree with
life.
that. I
Yep.
agree with
So
that.
it is not for you. So stop
Mm-hmm.
looking at yourself and
Mm-hmm.
start looking at, who am I supposed to
Right.
impact? And that's
Well,
Right.
exactly what you
and
have done.
every
Yes,
blessing that comes to you is not for you.
Right.
Every
exactly.
lesson that comes to you is not for you,
For you.
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
it's for somebody else. And that has happened to me
Right.
before, where it might be 10 years later and I'll be like,
Mhm. Right.
Right. You get it now. Right. You finally get it, or you see it. A lot of times we don't see it when it's right in
that's
front of us.
why I
Yep.
had
Honestly,
to
don't.
go through that
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
that I could help
Mhm.
this person.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Dr.
Yes.
Greta, as we're about to close here, I mean, this hour is going by so fast. Um, Here's what I want. I want you, if you could, just to give a few. I mean, there's 20 tips in the book.
Mhm.
Um, I could you hit a little bit about this money thing, right?
Okay.
Because I
Okay.
know there's many parents out there. Like I said, we had 3 kids in college at the same time.
It too.
There's that's
Mhm.
the elephant in the room, is how am I
Yes.
going to pay for
Absolutely.
this and not come out of school with hundreds of thousands of dollars of student
Yes.
debt, sitting here wishing
Mhm.
that Biden would do something about it, but he's
Or
not
somebody.
obligated to do anything. Somebody,
Mhm.
right? So,
Right. Right. Mhm.
just spend a few minutes on that piece for us.
Okay. That's one of the keys, I believe, to starting early, because the thing that I'm seeing is that, we all know that college is expensive, and it's getting more expensive every year. It's the one industry basically that, there's no cap really as far as how much they can charge from year to year. And it continues to go up. And so a lot of this is the biggest problem, I believe, that parents and guardians and students themselves face, as far as the deciding factor of either where they'll go to school, because they end up trying to choose a cheaper option where they really don't fit, which causes issues down the road,
Mhm.
or they end up going into enormous debt that they cannot even possibly begin to think about paying back. And so I always, and in the book, I feel like starting early and looking for avenues and ways to gain money for school before the senior year. You need to start.
Yes.
I mean, you really honestly need to start at the kid's birth. When they pop out, you need to be trying to look for scholarships, basically. But
Right.
okay, we're gonna give you a little bit of time and let the kid get a little bit of age on them. But I'm just saying it is so important. And you can start as early as you feel like you need to. It's never really too early, honestly, because there's some scholarships. You can find scholarships for the prettiest baby, or scholarships for the left-handed
Right.
clubfoot child. I don't know. I'm just saying there's scholarships. And so I'm thinking that what parents and guardians need to do is look for ways to get money that, first of all, does not include loans, money that they have to pay back. Or if they are going to have to deal with loans, then they need to find uh, the the best loans that they can get, the ones that don't have the high interest rates, or no penalty for paying back earlier, different things like that. You need to be looking for and shopping for a loan if you are trying to get a loan. And so I would suggest starting as early as you can, looking everywhere. And it does take a lot of work. And a lot of people, because
Mhm.
it takes a lot of work, they are not willing to do it. They don't want to invest that time, but they also find that later they don't want to invest the money. And so,
Right.
what do you want? Make a choice. You start early. You make sure that you are organized. And when I say organized,
Mhm.
I mean organized. You
Mhm.
get a form, you make a spreadsheet, whatever you need to do, and look for monies. Okay. Look locally, look on the state level, but check out books, or look, you can even get books on your phone. You don't even have to go to a library anymore, honestly. But find books for scholarships. Sign up on the internet for different scholarship searches, like scholarships.com. And, there's a lot of them. Sign up for every single one. Okay. Fill out the FAFSA, making sure that you adhere to all the deadlines for that. Go to your local organizations where you hold memberships. As far as like a lot of parents work a job, and some of those jobs have educational benefits for either the person working, the parent, or students. Get every little bit that you can where you can. Save the money over the years. Open, if you want to do, 529, which we talked about this morning, do that. If you want to do the life insurance option, I believe you said term life insurance, do that.
Hold on.
Yeah. Don't tell these people something wrong now. Okay, so whole life, whatever it takes, do that. And also, if you belong to any groups, like you're a member of the Lions Club, you're a member of Jack and Jill, you're a member of First Baptist Church, wherever you have your memberships, go there and ask about if they have any kind of help. Because all of these things, they might be small, but they add up. And you can always save that. That can take care of your books, because sometimes the books can be over $100. Look for options also to save money before you get to campus and when you get there. Buy used books. Get a job. Sell your clothes on Poshmark or eBay. It's always somebody on there, namely me. Okay, so you can get some good money for some stuff. Do everything you can.
And there's people who do it. We have a lady, Denise Feaster, the Scholar Mom. I mean, that's what she does. She finds scholarships for kids.
Right.
You go to school.
But you got to have a certain income level, or a certain, I want to say, everybody does not have the extra money for that. And so that's another reason why I wrote the book, because you can be your own student's coach. But you do have to realize, and I'm not trying to take away from coaches, because that's a valuable service, but I'm saying that if you are organized enough and you know what you're doing enough, you have a roadmap, you have the tips, then what you can do is make sure that you are working those as early as you can and lining all your things up so that it does not become a panic call to me 2 months before your kid is supposed to go to college. And you're asking, what should I do? I get a lot of that. I promise you.
I bet.
And I'm like, okay, why didn't you ask me this like 4 years ago at least?
Well, and I get it sometimes even with retirement. It's like, I'm retiring this month. How can I,
next week, tomorrow.
So, so Dr. Greta, there's a couple things I want to do is, again, I think, Dante, thank you for showing the book. The book is available. You prefer that to be Amazon?
Amazon, yes, it's on Amazon.
Is that the preferred way you would like people to receive the book? Is to go to Amazon?
But if they are buying like I'd say 10 or more copies, they can reach out to me and I can offer them a discount. And so I'll give you all my information. Because sometimes when I have people who are, trying to get 10, 20 books, I will give them a bulk discount based on what I have, the inventory that I have at my house. And so, I want everybody to get this. I want it to be affordable to everyone. And I would like to also be in partnership with people who, maybe they have an organization and maybe, we can work together to, you can always manipulate those prices on Amazon. So I can, know that they're going to order them and I can go and reduce the price, for certain, if we have a conversation about it, it doesn't have to be necessarily, the full price. And so I always send people to Amazon for the book.
Okay.
unless I know in advance that they are trying to get, at least 10 books, maybe 10 books. I've done as many as 65 books to someone, that was getting them for a group of students. And, I try to, work with people where they are. And so, it's not all about making money, but I do want to make money on, the book that I wrote. But I'm just saying, I will try to work with people if they need more than one.
And lastly, we do want you to tell us the contact information.
Okay.
And then just real quickly about the podcast.
Oh, okay. Well, let me tell you the contact information. I do have a website. It is GretaOliverConsulting.com. I have an email where individuals can write, and it is Dr. Greta at GretaOliverConsulting.com. And I do have a tiny URL for both the book and for the podcast. And so I'll try to say this really slow. If you're interested in the book and you want to know the tiny URL, it is tinyurl.com/college roadmap paperback. Let me say that again. It is tinyurl.com/college roadmap paperback. And all of that's, of course, run together, no spaces or anything like that in there. And that will take you to the Amazon site. And so for the podcast, it is tinyurl.com/educate you podcast. And that will show all of the podcasts that are up so far. I believe we're on episode 10. We just started it in January. And it's a once a week podcast, comes out. And right now it supports the book. What we're talking about on the podcast are all the kind of things that we're talking about now, like step by step. We talked about finding your child's why, meaning you need to have a conversation with your child to see if they really want to go to school. And they should be able to articulate whether they want to go and what they hope their end game is going to be. And if they cannot, you know what? That's fine. But I'm not going to spend any time working on this and going crazy about something you don't even do. Okay? First things first. That's the easiest way to save money. You don't want to go? Fine. Okay. We can work on something else you're trying to do. I can help you with, maybe read over your resume that you need to certainly figure out how to do so that you can get out and get a job. But anyway, I'm just saying. So we talk about all that. And so we're talking about step by step, and I'm having guests on that can, lend their expertise to these different subjects. So right now we're in the money part, we're getting ready to be in the money part. So that's why we had wonderful Tony Jackson on. And then I'm talking about other ways you can save money. And I have another person that is a financial aid person that talks, about money.
Right.
So, trying to get like as many different voices in there that are all good information, that people can use when they're trying to make a decision about what to do and how to start saving money for school. And so all of that, we're going to go through the entire book, using the book as the podcast subjects for at least 30 episodes. I have them already planned out. And so once we have completed the College Roadmap series, we're going to go into our season 2, which will be just higher education trends and topics. And so what I'm hoping is that we can talk about things like, like you were talking about the high loan amounts that people have to pay back. We can talk about that. We can talk about, the promises of, loan forgiveness and what's going on with that. So different trends that are coming up. We'll also be talking about how the SAT is changing. It's going to change like next year, I believe, and what those changes are going to look like. And so parents will have an idea of what's coming. And so just different things that, can be useful to someone who is interested in higher education topics. So that's what we do on the podcast.
Well, I think this has been absolutely excellent. Great information.
Great information.
And just God bless you for what you're doing. What you're doing is going to make a difference, and it is making a difference. And so, blessings to you for sure. This is so important. Any last words, Michelle?
No, I've experienced it. So, you're on the right track, and parents need help,
They do. They do.
And start finding those things that the kids are interested in early.
Yes.
They like tap dancing or ice skating.
Right.
You can get scholarship.
Well, I was sharing on Dr. Oliver's podcast. There's this gentleman from Jackson. Shout out to Anthony Coffey, but he started as a caddy at the country club.
Yeah,
and ended up, I believe, if my facts are correct, he ended up getting like a full ride to U of M, and now he's on Wall Street. But those are the types of things. Kalamazoo Promise. Those types of things that are out there that can really help people get through school. So
move to Kalamazoo, Michigan, because
you know what else they also have? I wanted to mention a lot of jobs, that students can work. They have like a aspect of their job where they give a certain amount of money toward education. I know Panera has that. Target has that. Walmart has that. So
a lot of them have come out with that.
Is looking for a summer job or just a job in general right now. 16 years old looking for a job. Why not? Get in touch and get going with one of those companies that's going to help you later. Those are the kind of things that you do, to prepare yourself early, and that way, you have that bit of money that you can count on. That you can receive toward, higher education.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome. Great tips. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Greta Oliver, for being with us on this Tuesday evening. And I know that there's people that probably are going to contact you. I know we have people who are watching that have kids that are getting to that age. And even if they're, freshmen or junior high or what have you, this information is valuable. You guys go to Amazon, order the book, order 2, 3 of them as a gift. Get them ready for them graduation gifts, y'all. Give them the graduation gift early. It's too late to wait till June. Get it to them now. So they can start, and you can start this project. So it's been another wonderful episode. Thank you all for being here. We will see. We'll see you. We won't see you, but you'll hear me on the iHeartRadio show Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So with that, we're going to sign off. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Dr. Michelle. Thank you. We'll see you all next week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye.